So I've been running my photography and videography business for the last 8 years, and there's a lot of things I've learned along the way over the last 8 years. A lot of lessons that I've learned that have honestly come just through trial and error, through failing and kind of learning what actually doesn't work, and then changing things to find what does work. And I honestly still feel like I'm growing and evolving so much even today. There's so many things I'm trying to get better at, so many things I'm trying to grow into. But as I look back over the last 8 years, there's a few specific things that I look at and I go, man, I wish I knew this when I first started. I wish I knew these things. This would have helped me make so many less mistakes. This would have helped kind of catapult my business to the next level so much more quickly. And so today what I want to do is share some of those thoughts and some of those lessons with you. Specifically, 7 things I wish I knew when I started my photography business. So the first thing I wish I knew when I started my business was that the actual photographing element of a photography business is such a small part of the business itself. There's so many things that go on behind the scenes. There's so many additional components to running a business that I honestly had no idea were actually part of running a business. And it's so easy to think that photography is all about getting out shooting, editing, and delivering, but there's so many other things that go on behind the scenes. And so one of the things that I learned kind of over the course of my first couple years as a photographer and as a videographer was that mastering the things that go on behind the scenes of the business is a massive help to actually running a more successful business. In fact, I would say spend more of your time focusing on getting all of your logistics right than you actually do focusing on shooting and editing and delivering, and your business will go so much better. If you can dial in systems to help you manage your clients, help you manage your files, help you manage your finances, all the logistical things that go into your business, so that those kind of automate, those run in the background, your actual business is going to go so much more smoothly, and you're going to actually be able to focus your time and your resources on what you actually want to do in your business, and that's shoot, be creative, work with clients, deliver amazing products, and all that fun stuff that you actually do as an artist. Realizing that on the front end when you start your business and learning how to master those things, even though you don't like them, makes a huge difference in your business in the long run. The second thing I wish I knew when I started my business is that developing a strong, unique personal brand is so much more important than just trying to fit into whatever, other photographers and videographers are doing. When I first started, and even today, it's so easy to fall into the trap of trying to buy the coolest, most amazing new preset from an amazing photographer that you respect their style and you want your work to look like theirs. And so you buy those presets and then you don't like those presets. And so you buy someone else's presets and you just kind of, this never ending cycle of just buying new things and trying to achieve this certain kind of style. But I would argue that developing and maintaining a strong personal brand, really putting yourself into your business, showcasing who you are as a person, who you are as an artist, who you are as a creator, is going to go so much farther than just trying to fit in and be kind of like a weird copy of some other photographer or artist that you respect. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong to emulate people, get inspiration from people, do all that kind of stuff, but spend the time learning how to infuse your brand with you and your personality and your style, and then all those little influences that you pull from other artists are going to show themselves in your work. Rather than just trying to fit in, learn how to be yourself, learn how to develop your own style and your own visual and creative personality, and your work's going to be so much better and your brand's going to be so much better and you're going to feel so much more satisfied in your business. And honestly, if your style is completely different than other people, that's great. There's some incredible photographers out there that I follow that I absolutely love their work because it's completely different than everything else that I see. Investing that time in infusing your own personality into your business is going to go so much farther than buying a new preset, buying a new piece of gear, buying a new piece of software, or something that you think is going to elevate your work to the next level. Find ways to infuse yourself and your personality into your brand, and you will feel so much more satisfied as a business owner. So on that note, I want to talk about gear, because the third thing I wish I knew when I started my photography business is that finding the best gear for you doesn't mean finding the best gear, period. Finding the best gear for you and for your business doesn't mean, one, copying everyone else and what they're doing, what lenses they're using, what cameras they're using, all that kind of stuff. And it also doesn't mean finding the best gear, period. Finding the camera that has the highest megapixels or the lens that has the highest rating or the widest aperture or whatever. Find gear that works for you. There's so much incredible gear out there, but finding the best gear for you means trying some stuff out, rent some gear, see what works for you, what works for your brand. And if that's different than someone else, that's great. If it's the same as someone else, that's great. You're going to use it in a different way. But finding the best gear doesn't mean finding the top rated gear or the gear that's the most expensive or whatever, or even the brand that's the most popular. Don't buy into the argument that gear doesn't matter at all. It does. Like, buy yourself a good camera, get good lenses. But I'm a firm believer in the reality that the best gear for you might not be the best gear out there. It might not be what everyone else is using, but find gear that works for you, learn that gear inside and out, and learn how to use that gear to achieve the work that you want to create. The fourth thing I wish I would have known when I started my business is that you're never going to actually have everything figured out, and honestly, no one else does either. It's so easy to kind of start in the photography world and be like, well, I admire this photographer or this creator and I feel like they know everything. And then over time, as I've developed relationships with some of the people that I've really looked up to and respected and found out, oh, they actually don't have it all figured out. They're still growing, they're still evolving. That's the same with everyone. No one knows everything. No one has everything fully figured out, which means it's okay that you don't either. The creative journey is always a journey. There's never an end point. There's never a point where you're gonna be like, I've made it. So don't worry if you feel like you don't know everything, because no one else does either. But that being said, there are a lot of creators, there are a lot of artists, there are a lot of photographers out there who do know more than I do, who do know more than you do. And so the fifth thing I wish I knew when I started my photography business is that investing in education and investing in networking is more important than almost anything else. Surrounding yourselves with creators, with other artists, with people who can pour into you, with people who are better than you at what they do is the best way to grow as a creator. So network on social media, network in real life, go out to coffee with people, attend workshops, buy educational resources online, network with creators, and invest in education and networking. That's the best way to grow as a creator. And honestly, the reality of like a photography or a videography business is you're probably working alone in your office, just like me. You're not surrounded by a bunch of industry peers who can have little conversations with you throughout the day. So take the time to find people who are like-minded and befriend them. Build relationships with these people, because this is how you're going to grow as a creator. This is how you're going to find life and find sustainability in your business, when you're surrounded by a community of people who's cheering you on, who's excited for you, and who can honestly help you and grow you as a creator, as an artist, and as a person. So invest in education, invest in networking. That's the best way to grow as a person and to grow in your business. The sixth thing I wish I knew when I started my photography business is that your business should bring you life, not steal it from you. It's super, super important to realize that you should own your business and not let your business own you. And that means setting reasonable boundaries within your business, not just for other people, but also for yourself. Find ways to disconnect from your work, because as a solo entrepreneur, as someone who owns and runs and manages their own business, it's so easy to make your work your entire world. And I definitely did this when I first started my business. So make sure you set reasonable boundaries for other people when they know they can contact you, when they can reach out to you, expectations on how quickly you turn things around, on how quickly you communicate, but also set boundaries for yourself. When you put down the computer, when you put down the camera, when you turn off work as much as you possibly can and just focus on personal things. Treat your business like a business. Don't let your business own you, and that will make a massive, massive difference in how your business actually succeeds and thrives over the years. And the final thing I wish I knew when I started my photography business is that I need to never stop creating for me. For all of us photographers and videographers and creatives, we probably got into this business because we were good at something and we had a skill in a particular area. There's not many photographers I know that just picked up a camera without any knowledge of how to use it and said, I want to use this camera to make money. Let's learn how to use it. Let's figure it out. Let's make that a business. Chances are you've already had a camera. You've already been taking photos. You've already been shooting video. You love the medium of capturing images, documenting stories, creating art with a camera. And then you just happen to get into a business because of that. People saw your work and they were like, hey, can you take photos of, this or whatever? And then you ended up making a business out of it. And it's so easy once you make your passion your business to let your business kill your passion. It's so easy to fall into the trap of making client work the only work that you ever shoot. And if you make client work the only work you do, it's totally going to push you into a rut. I've definitely been there, where I've been only shooting paid work, where I've only been shooting contracted client work and never been shooting anything just for the fun of it. And then my passion just became a project that I had to do to make money. And so the best advice I can give anyone who's starting out in business, or even if you're 10 years into your business now, is to never stop creating for you. Find time for personal projects, get out with a camera and shoot just for the fun of it. And the beauty of personal work is you can experiment. You can do stuff that's off brand. You can do stuff that's completely different to the work that you do for your paid clients. And who knows, maybe that work will never find its way into your client work. Maybe it'll just be something you do just for the fun of it, just for the fun of making art. But maybe the personal stuff that you do will turn into client work. And you'll be like, hey, I shot this fun, crazy personal project. I want to start kind of getting some inspiration from myself and integrating that into my client work. Maybe not. Either way, that's great, but never stop creating for you, because that's the best way to continue growing as a creator, as a person, and as a business owner. So hopefully those tips were helpful as you kind of think about your own business. If you have any additional tips, feel free to leave those down in the comments. If this video has been helpful, feel free to drop a like. And if you're interested in my work and the tips that I drop here on a weekly basis, feel free to subscribe. Really appreciate you joining the community here on YouTube. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week. Peace.